Yes, bond valuation. A quick recap of our last class. While we await others to join the class, we explain bond as a debt instrument that establishes, excuse me, please, a debt instrument that establishes the contract between the borrower and the lender. This instrument is issued by the borrower in order to source finance. The borrower is the issuer, while the investors are the lenders. The instrument requires the borrower to repay the lender the amount borrowed plus the interest elements. We talk about the face value. It could be 100 naira or 1,000. That is the amount stated on the face of the bond, just like your 100 naira notes, your 100 naira notes. What is written on the face is 100. That is what we call the face value. Or it could be 1,000. We talk about the coupon rate, that is the interest rate stated on the bond. You can have floating rates, fixed rate, or zero coupon bond. We talk about premium bond. Where the market price of a bond is greater than the face value, premium, that is called premium bond. We talk about discount bond, where the market value is less than the face value. We talk about par bond. We explain bond valuation. Par bond, where the market price is the same as the face value. How do we value bond? The method to be adopted will depend on the type of bond you are dealing with. The method to be adopted will depend on the type of the bond you are dealing with. If you are required to value redeemable bond, what is redeemable bond? A bond with a specific repayment date. If you are required to value redeemable bond, you are going to calculate the value as the present value of the expected future cash flows from the redeemable bond. Let me repeat that. If you are to calculate the market price of a redeemable bond, you are going to calculate this as the present value of the expected future cash flows from the redeemable bond. Now, what are these cash flows? What are the expected future cash flows? There are two. One is annual interest from year one to maturity. The annual interest on that bond. Please remember, your valuation will be from the perspective of the investor. If you want to invest in company bond, what are the cash flows you expect from that bond? The annual interest receivable on the bond from year one to maturity. Then cash flow number two, redemption value of the bond at maturity. Please listen to that again. There are two major cash flows expected. One, annual interest received. The borrower will pay you interest. You, the lender, you are going to receive the interest. The annual interest received from year one to maturity. Then two, redemption value of the bond at maturity. The redemption value may be at par or at premium or at a discount. When you get this cash flow, you now discount to their present value. Definitely, if you want to discount, you require a discount rate. If you are going to discount the cash flows, you are going to require the discount rate you are going to use is the corporate yield rate. That is the bond yield. You are going to use corporate yield, the corporate yield curve. If you are valuing corporate bond, you are going to use corporate yield curve. If you are required to value corporate bond, but if you are required to value government bond, you are going to use government yield curve. Now, it's very possible that examiner will require you. Please listen to this very well. It's very possible that the examiner will require you to value corporate bond. And you are giving government yield curve. That government yield curve cannot be used directly to value corporate bond. You must adjust that government yield curve the adjustment item is your credit spread. The adjustment item is your credit spread. That is how to value corporate bond. Now, if you are required to value, that is how to value redeemable bond. If you are required to value convertible bond, now ask yourself, what is a convertible bond? Convertible bond are debt instruments that can be converted to ordinary shares at the option of the debt holder. Let's repeat that. Convertible bond, a debt instrument with conversion option. You have an option to convert to equity. Now, there are two ways to value convertible bond. There are two ways to value convertible bond. First is valuation as a straight debt. We are doing a recap. Valuation as a straight debt. Under this method, it is assumed that the convertible bond will not be converted to ordinary shares. So we are going to value as a debt because we are not converting to equity. In this case, you are going to identify expected cash flow. In this case, you are going to identify the expected cash flows from the convertible bond. What are these cash flows? Annual interest from year 1 to maturity. Then the redemption value of the bond at maturity. When you get these cash flows, you now discount to their present value using return required on ordinary debt of the same risk class. That is approach number 1. Approach 2 is to determine the conversion value of the equity shares. Determine the conversion value of the equity shares. Using the formula for conversion value. Either of these, look at it. And we stated that if you are required to value convertible bond and the examiner has supplied sufficient information, you are going to use both methods. Valuation as a straight debt and the conversion value. You now compare the two methods. Valuation as a straight debt and the conversion value. You now compare the two. Whichever one that gives you the higher value will represent the value of your convertible bond. You are going to calculate valuation as a straight debt. You are going to determine the conversion value as an equity. You now compare Whichever one that gives you the higher value will represent value of your convertible bond. We tried to stress this last week. We explained yield measures, nominal yield, current yield, yield to the internal rate of return of the cash flows from a yield to maturity. We talk about the duration. Duration is simply the average life of a bond, the number of years it will take the investor to recoup the amount invested in bond. We explain credit risk, credit spread. Please watch out. Watch out for credit spread. It's usually being used for adjustments. Look at this. The yield on corporate bond is equal to yield on equivalent government bond plus the credit spread. Please note that. Thereafter, we solved 2 questions last week. Now, of course, we must always think of improvements. Tonight's question, even though the solution is provided, we are going to close our eyes to the solution. We have solved question number 1. We have solved question number 2. Now, we have added one more question. Let us start with question number 3. But please, we only have 4 students online. Maybe others will soon join. It's always a class of between 7. We've not seen Zainab. But please get your writing pad, your book, your calculator. Please close your eyes to the solution. Let us treat this question as if solution were not provided. All right, let's look at question number 3. Question 3. Are we good to go, please? Are we good to go?
Yes, sir, we are.
All right. Kazaure Limited has a cash surplus of 20 million, which the finance manager is keen to invest in corporate bond. Look at it. Kazaure has gotten 20 million naira cash surplus, and the manager is interested in investing this amount in corporate bond. He has identified 2 potential investment opportunities in 2 different companies, which are rated A. Please note that the finance manager has identified 2 potential investment opportunities in 2 different companies, which are both rated A by the major credit rating agencies. Bond A. The issuer plans to raise 500 million. 2 years bond with a coupon rate of 10%. The bond is redeemable at a premium of 8% to nominal value. Bond B. The issuer planned to raise 800 million, 3-year bond with a coupon rate of 12% and redeemable at par. The annual spot yield curve for government bond is given below: 9.5, 10.4, year one 9.5, year two 10.4, year three 10.5. Extract from a major credit rating agency website. Table of spread in basis points. That is the credit spread. Is given for triple A's, AA, and single A. Requirements A. For a nominal value of 1,000, that means the nominal value is the face value. Examiner says the nominal value is 1,000. So you cannot assume 100 naira. Calculate the theoretical issue prices of the two bonds and how many of each of the bond Kasauri Limited can buy, assuming it's invested in only one of them. Calculate issue prices to the nearest naira. All right. Let us start solution A. Right, let's start solution A. Solution A. The first question is, what type of bond are you required to value? A redeemable bond, a convertible bond, or what? Which one? Please, you can unmute or you can respond via chat. You have two bonds. Look at bond A. Look at, we are going to determine theoretical issue price. When we say theoretical issue price, it's also the market price, current market price of the bond. Examiner can use theoretical issue price, or you can use issue price, or the examiner can use market price or market value. Now, my question to the class is, what type of bond are we required to value? Please, let's pick up. Or let's respond via chat. The class is silent.
So it's redeemable bond.
A redeemable bond. Thank you. Now, the next question is, how do we calculate the market price of a redeemable bond? The next question is, how do we calculate the market price of a redeemable bond Yes, we observe that some might just log on. Some might log on. You see the person logging on, but the person is far asleep. Or the person has just logged on. He is doing something else. My question is very clear. How do we calculate the market price of a redeemable bond?
So can I attempt?
Please try.
Okay, we discount the interest payment on the bond for the period till maturity, and then on the maturity date, that's the redemption date, we discount the redemption value using the yield of the bond.
Okay, at least you attempted positively. You know, I keep on emphasizing this. I was thrown off temporarily, network, but we are back. We said the market price of a redeemable bond is calculated as the present value of the expected future cash flows from the redeemable bond. This cash flow will be discounted using the bond yield. That was my expectation from the student, to explain that to calculate the issue price of a redeemable bond, this is calculated as the present value of the expected future cash flows from the redeemable bond. These cash flows will be discounted using the bond yield. That was my expectation. But the person that responded tried. You discount the interest from year one to maturity. You also discount the redemption value at maturity using the bond yield. She tried. Please, let's try. We have taken a decision to join the online class. We also need to make that sacrifice to be part of that class. Now, thank you for that response. If you look at it, the major challenge is the bond yield. Okay, let us approach this way. Let's come here. Bond A. Bond A. Let's start with bond A. What are the features of bond A? Features of bond A. Let's look at it. What is the maturity period for bond A? How many years?
2 years.
Please take that in your book also. The features of bond A. Maturity 2 years. Maturity 2 years. This is equal to 2 years. What is the coupon rate on bond A? Bond. Look at it and tell us. Annual coupon rate for bond A. What is the coupon rate? What do you have, please? What's the coupon rate?
%10%.
10%. Now just getting tired. %10. What is the face value of this bond?
1,000.
1,000. What is the redemption value of this bond? Let's go to it. What's the redemption value? Examiner gave us the bond is redeemable at what? Premium of 8% to value. So nominal value is 1,000 naira. The bond will be redeemed at a premium of 8%. So what is the redemption value? I was trying to have an interactive class. So what is the redemption value? The bond will be redeemed at 8% premium to the nominal value. What you need to do, thank you. What you need to do is to compute 8% of 1,000 and add it back to 1,000. That will give us at a premium at 8% premium. Now we can get expected future cash flow for bond A. We can get expected future cash flow for bond A. I'm trying to take another approach to the solution. Instead of just solving and say good night, body goes. we have itemized the futures of bond A. As given by the examiner. Next, expected future cash flows. What we are trying to do is to follow that definition. I'm trying to follow the definition we have explained. We said to calculate the market price of a redeemable bond. This is calculated as the present value of the expected future cash flow. These cash flows will be discounted by the bond yield. That means for me to calculate the issue price, I must get the expected future cash flows. When I get the expected future cash flows, I must get the bond yield. When I get the bond yield, I will now use the bond yield to discount the expected future cash flows. I will now get my present value. The expected future cash flows are 1. That population. This is what I would do. This is expected future cash flows. Annual interest for year 1 to maturity. What is the annual coupon? 10%. And we said this annual interest is calculated on nominal value. Please compute 10% of 1,000. What do you have? Please compute 10% of 1,000. What do you have?
100.
The annual interest. Annual interest equal 10% of the nominal value, 1,000. This is equal to 100 naira. This is in year 1. You are going to get interest in year 1 because you have 2 years, Abi. Interest in year 1, interest in year 2. Annual interest again. Annual interest. Is equal to 10% of 1,000. That will give you 100 year 2. You are getting the annual interest for year 1 to maturity. Then the redemption value at maturity. That is the expected cash flow from the bond. expected future cash flow, redemption value at maturity. The bond will be redeemed at 8% premium. You are going to compute 8% of 1,000. Look at it here. At a premium of 8% to nominal value. Nominal value is 1,000 naira. Compute 8% of 1,000. That will give you 80 naira. Then add back 80 naira to 100 to 1,000. That will give you at 8% premium. %8 premium. That will give us 1,080. Redemption will happen in year 2. That means in year 2, we have 2 cash flows. Please look at the highlighted. In year 2, we have 2 cash flows. In year 2, we have 2 cash flows. You can add the 2 cash flow together. In year 2, 100 annual interest plus redemption value. If you sum the 2 together, you are going to have 1,180. You have gotten the expected future cash flows. Remember the definition. To calculate the market price or the issue price of a bond, this is calculated as the present value of the expected future cash flows. These cash flows will be discounted using the bond yield. You have gotten expected future cash flows. In year 1, 100 naira. In year 2, 100 naira. Also in year 2, 1,000. And the next is the yield to discount this bond. I hope we are following. The next is the yield we are going to use to discount this bond. We need to derive the yield. Now, we are required to value corporate bond. We are required to value corporate bond. Now go check, look at it. Examiner gave you the annual spot yield curve for government bond. Examiner gave you the annual spot yield curve for government bond. And we explained that this government spot yield curve can only be used to value government bond. We explained to ourselves that these rates, annual spot yield curve for government bond, you can only use it when you are required to value government bond. But in this particular question, you are to value corporate bond. Look at it. The financial manager is keen to invest in corporate bond. Bond A and bond B, they are corporate bond. What do you now do? You need to adjust these government rates. Open a schedule, let's open it. The next is corporate bond yield. I want to calculate corporate bond yield. Because I require this yield, corporate bond yield curve. I require this corporate bond yield curve to discount the expected future cash flows to their present value. I can now open a schedule. Just 1 minute. You can open your schedule now. You start with the year. Year 1, year 2, year 3. If you look at the question, we have bond for 2 years, we have bond for 3 years. You start with government sports yield curve. That was all you are giving. Pick the rates you are giving for government. Look at the rates. Let's go to it. The rates we are giving. We are, for year 1, look at the rates. Year 1, 0.95%. For year 2, check it out. 10.4, 10.5, year 2, year 3, 10.4. 10.5. Introduce the credit spread. Credit spread. Let's continue. Occasionally, you can have network glitch. We only pray that it shouldn't be too much. Now you are giving credit spread for AAA, triple A, credit spread for double A, credit spread for single A. Which one are you going to pick? Now go back to the question. Look at it. He has identified two potential investment opportunities in two different companies, which are both rated what? A. Both companies are rated A. Company A with bond A are rated A. Company B with bond B is rated A. You now pick the credit spread of a corporate company. You are giving 20, 30, 50. This credit spread is given to you in basis points. What do? You need to convert basis points to percentage. To convert basis points to percentage, divide by 100. You are going to divide 20 by 100. That will give you 0.2%. You are going to divide 30 by 100. That will give you 0.3%. You are going to divide 50 by 100. That will give you 0.5%. You can now come here. This becomes 0.2%. This becomes 0.3%. This becomes 0.5%. You now add. Please add. What do you have? This will give you corporate yield curve. The addition, please.
9.7.
9.7%. 9.7%. Next.
10.7.
10.7%. Next.
11.
11%. This is the corporate yield curve. Corporate yield curve. Now you can plan ahead. From the day you want to get the present value of expected future cash flows. That means I will need to get discount factor. The discount factor. Discount factor. Remember the formula. Discount factor, please. At discount rate of 9.7. What do you have, please? Remember the formula for discount factor. 1 plus R raised to power minus N. One plus R raised to power minus N. Now get the discount factor. Can we all do it? Zainab, you are welcome. I'll ask after you now.
For year 1, 0.912.
Year 1, 0.912. For year 2, what do you have, please? Please, let's
0.816.
61.
0.816.
0.816. 0.816. Next. Please, let's participate in the class. Okay, the class is getting fuller. Wilson is also here now.
Yes, I just saw the class.
Yeah, I know.
31. 0.731.
You have gotten the discount factor. Look at it. Look at your cash flow. Year 1, 100. Year 2, 100. Also in year 2, you have 100. You can discount now. This is just for 2 years. We can discount now. I'll just come here. The present value for year 1. Abby, I'll bring it here now. Look at my cash flow. Oh, sorry. Look at my cash flow. If I go up small, my cash flow. This my cash flow. I'm trying to use this place. This is year 1. Year 1. Year 2. Also in year 2. Also in year 2. The bond A is for 2 years. I can come here now. I've gotten my cash flow. I'll bring my discount factor. I'm trying to get present value. Discount factor in year 1 as computed 0.912. Discount factor in year 2, 0.816. This is also year 2. Discount factor 0.816. Please, the present value. Yeah, let's compute. Believe, yeah. I believe you can do it. Oh, yeah. Present value. Oh, yeah. Weeks,
So year
let's
1.
get present value. What do you have?
91.2.
91.2.
91.2. For year 2, what do you have?
12.6.
81.6, yeah.
81.6. Next, also year 2. Multiply.
881.28. 81.28. That's 0.3. 881.3.
881.3.
Yes.
You can sum up now. Sum up your present value. Addition. Yeah, okay.
1054.1.
Theoretical issue price. Thank you. Theoretical is equal to 1054.
Yes, 0.1.
1054.1. To the nearest naira, what is your answer? To the nearest naira. It does not say give us the answer to
105.
the nearest naira. What's the answer? 105. Thank you. Oh. To the nearest naira, our answer is 1,054. You have calculated the theoretical issue price of bond A. The solution has been provided, but I just don't want to be having the class, because for online class, you are not able to assess the level at which students are getting the knowledge. Some students will not speak out. We have gotten for bond A. This is bond A we have treated. Yeah, this is bond A. Yeah, look at it, bond A. To the nearest naira, 1,054. Now let's look at bond B. Solution is here. Oh, those things we have done. I'm just trying to get the class together. So this is just an addition, just to explain in class. The solution is with you 100%. Now let's go to bond B. We are doing it together in the class. So look at bond B. The issuer plan to raise 800 million, 3-year bond with a coupon rate of 12% and redeemable as par. Now, please itemize the features of bond B. What is the maturity? What is the coupon rate? What is the face value? What is the redemption value? Please itemize. And itemize for us.
So the maturity value, the maturity date, 3 years.
Line went off or what?
Sir?
I can't hear you.
The maturity date is 3 years.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I can hear you, sir.
Can other hear you?
Please, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I think the problem is from his end.
Yeah, the problem is from his end.
Okay.
All right, let's go on. Maybe it was my network that was trying to trip off. Yes, you can list the features of the bond in your notes. Maturity, how many years?
3 years.
Good. Annual coupon rate, what is the percentage?
12 years. Sorry,
Please,
12%.
please list it document it in your book. What is the face value of the bond?
I will say 100.
1,000,
100
sir.
Is
naira.
there now?
1,000. I don't.
No,
I don't.
for this
Okay,
question, it's given
1,000.
to us
1,000.
1,000.
1,000. 1,000.
So document it. So maturity 3 years. Annual coupon 12%. Face value 1,000. What is the redemption value of this bond?
1,000, sir.
Yeah,
Ah,
at par. Can we see it? Can we all see it, please?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Redeemable at par. Now, please list out the expected future cash flows from bond B. Please let us list out the expected future cash flow from bond B. Annual interest from year 1 to maturity. The interest is computed on the nominal value. Then the redemption value at maturity. Please list out the expected future cash flow.
It's 120,000 for year 1, 2, and year 3. Then the redemption value is 1,000.
Great.
Same
So
3.
year 1 interest 120, year 2 interest 120, year 3 interest 120. Also in year 3, redemption value 1,000. You observe that in the last year, you are going to have 2 cash flows. In the last year, you are going to have interest. We can come here now to manage time. We can come here. Look at it. Look at bond B. The features of bond B. No, we are done with A. We are done with A. The features of bond B. That's why I say itemize. For bond B, okay, this is bond B, sorry. I need to take this one. Maturity 3 years. Coupon. This is for bond A. This is for A bond. A. And why you have this for bond B? 3 years. Annual coupon 12%. Face value 1,000. Redemption at par. We have resolved bond A. The 12% is calculated on nominal value, annual interest year 1, 120, annual interest year 2, 120. In year 3, we have the annual interest plus the redemption value, 120 plus 1,000. That will give you 1,020. You now pick the discount factor you have computed before. Look at this. 0.912, 0.816, 0.731. Please get the present value. 120 multiplied by 0.912. Get the present value, please. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's go to it now. We are doing it together. Or is it because I opened the
year 1? For year 1. 109.44.
Okay. Okay. Year 2, year 3.
97.92.
Year
3 together is 818.7.
Come on.
That's 97. $1,026 to the nearest naira.
Thank you. To the nearest naira. You have gotten the issue price of bond A and bond B. That is part of requirement A. Look at it. For a nominal value of 1,000, calculate the theoretical issue prices of the two bonds. And you have done that. The theoretical issue price of bond A is 1,054 naira. The theoretical issue price of bond B is 1,026 naira. Indicates how many of each of the bond Kasari Limited can buy. Assuming it invests only in one. To calculate that, Kasari has gotten 20 million for investment. For bond A, price per one bond is 1,054. How many can he buy if he's buying bond A? I'm asking a question. Oh. Kasari has gotten 20 million for investment purpose. The price of bond A is 1,054 naira. One bond. How many can the company buy with 20 million? What are you going to do?
They can buy 18,975 bonds.
How do you get that? Please explain to us.
I get that by dividing 20 million by the price of the bond, which is 1,054.
Thank you.
Okay,
Look at the solution here. Number of bond A, number of bond to be purchased, 20 million divided by 1,054. 18,975 bond. If the company want to buy bond B, Number of bonds to be purchased, 20 million divided by 1,026. The company can buy 19,493 bond. Please, if there's any area of concern, you can raise it. You observe that deliberately, we are not even rushing the question. If there's any area, we have solved A now. Any area we require explanation on. Zainab, Believe, Debbie, Prosper. Any area, please. All right. Look at requirements B. Irrespective of your answer in A, assume bond A is issued at 1,054 and bond B is issued at 1,026. Look at the examiner. The examiner is trying to tell you that even if you have made mistake with your calculation, assume that the issue price of bond A is 1,054. We didn't make mistake, we got the answer. Those are the answer we got for A and B. Calculate the yield to maturity of each bond in the time of issue. Please, what is yield to maturity? And how do we compute yield to maturity? Please, what is yield to maturity? And how do we calculate yield to maturity?
So yield to maturity is calculated the same way as the IRR by assuming 2 discount rates.
That's very correct. Yield to maturity is the internal rate of return of the cash flows associated with a bond. It's calculated in the same manner as we calculate internal rate of return. So for bond B, also for bond A, you are going to take the cash flows. Now you are going to start from year 0 now. If you look at the computation we have here, we started from year 1. Year 1. But if you are doing yield to maturity, you are going to introduce year 0 now. Your cash flow in year 0 is the issue price. Your cash flow in year 0 is the issue price. Look at bond A, please, to manage the time. Look at bond A.
Sorry, sir. I didn't get what you mean by yield to maturity. Don't know if you can just kindly recap.
No, okay, that's fine. Yield to maturity. The yield to maturity of a bond is the internal rate of return of the cash flows associated with that bond. The yield to maturity of a bond is the internal rate of return of the cash flows associated with the bond. It is that return where the cash flow, where the present value of the cash flow, cash inflows, is equal to the present value of the cash outflows. It is that return that equates the present value of cash inflows from the bond to the present value of the cash outflows. Yield to maturity is to bond what internal rate of return is to capital projects. Does that make sense, please?
Yes, very well. Thank you very much.
Now you are going to calculate in the same manner. What do you need to do? Let's use bond A. You are going to open your schedule the same way we do. Remember, you want to calculate internal rate of return. Year 1, bond A is for 2 years, from year 0 to year 2. Your items, the issue price. What is the issue price of bond A? Examiner says, assume is 1,054. And we also derive 1,054. That is the issue price. The issue price will be in brackets because that is the price the investor will pay to buy the bond. At the point of investing in a bond, you are parting with your money. Year 1, annual interest. The annual interest is an inflow. You know, the borrower will pay. The borrower will pay interest. The lender will receive the interest. That becomes an inflow to the lender. Annual interest in year 1. Year 2, annual interest plus redemption. This is what we are referring to, please. Look at this. These are the inflows. Annual interest in year 1. Look at year 2. Annual interest plus the redemption. 100 naira plus 1,080. What do you have, please? That should give you 1,180. Look at it here. Now, please, what is the internal rate of return of these cash flows? Work out do it on your own now. Ignore my own. You have gotten the cash flow now. Please do it on your own. Year 0, cash flow 1,050 in bracket. Year 1, 100. Year 2, 1,080. Please give us the internal rate of return of the cash flow. Assume a discount rate of your own choice. So I'm waiting. Let's do it and supply the final answer. Yeah. What rate are we assuming? You have to start with one rate first.
10%.
You are taking 10 also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please, let's try to do it. We have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes. Please, we are encouraged to try to solve this. Calculate the yield to maturity of the cash flows. Assume a discount rate. Then get the net present value of the cash flow. Is it positive or negative?
The
If
10%
it
is
is positive, Abby,
yes, sir.
so at 10%, we have positive MPV 11.58. What do you now do to get negative MPV?
We use a higher percentage.
So what are you assuming?
15.
You are just taking my own now.
Okay, so let's use 12.
Yeah, do your own, anyone you like. You can also do 15 for one because of
12 is,
time, but I charge you.
12 is too close.
I
12 will not
want us
give
to
you
demonstrate it.
negative. 12 will not give you negative.
Say so.
Okay.
You can try 12.
He said 12 is too close, sir.
And you believe him?
Yes, we won't have negative with 12.
Yeah, try 12. Let's see. Is that belief or wishing?
Yes, Wilson speaking, yes.
Wishing, try 12. Let's see. We should be able to have negative now.
No,
12.
because 12 is so close to. Are you trying, Prosper? Are you trying 12 already?
Yeah, I want to try 12.
Okay, try 12 then.
Fidelis, I hope you are fine. Debbie, I hope you are not sleeping. No. We started the class together.
I'm not sleeping, sir.
All right.
Hello, good evening, sir. I'm a bit sick, but I'm following gradually.
All right, no problem. Zainab, you came a bit late. Maybe it's traffic. I know you got to the class a bit late.
Okay, so 12 gave a negative though.
Negative what?
Negative 20.24.
So yeah, use it to derive your YTM.
Okay,
The same way you
okay.
compute internal rate of return. Start with the lower rate, do your and give us the figure. It's good to solve it in class. I understand some are waiting for the video, sure. But it's good to solve, to be part of the class. Yes, you answer. I have taken more than 5 minutes. Oh.
So 10.73.
10.7.
3 approximately.
Okay, 10.7, are we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have gotten 10.6. 10.67. You are fine. You have gotten the YTM of bond A. You are fine. You can also put it there, 10.7. It's an estimate. But we must be closer. I've gotten 10.67. I can round up to 10.7. You have gotten 10.73. You can round up to 10.7. It's an estimate. Look at bond B. Look at the cash flow. Look at the cash flows. Year 0, your item issue price, 1,026. Now, year 1 and 2, we have the same interest. Annual interest. Look at it. Look at it from here. From bond. Yeah, look at bond B. Annual interest in year 1, 120. Annual interest in year 2, 120. This can become annuity, right? The same cash flow from year 1 to year 2. Is that not? Is that not?
Is it,
It is,
sir?
sir.
You can take it here. We are only doing that to save time. But please note, oh, you can't do it here. Oh. If you are doing issue price, you cannot say annuity year 1 and 2 because the rate you are using is not the same. The rate in year 1, 9.7. The rate in year 2, 10.7. Rate in year 3, 11. So where you have different rates, you cannot do annuity. But under yield to maturity, we are looking for the rates. That rate that equates present value of inflows to the present value of outflow. So we can do annuity year. In year 0, issue price 1,026. Year 1 to 2, annual interest 120. Year 3 only, annual interest plus redemption. That is 1,020. Please look for the internal rate of return of this cash flow. I'm trying to copy it. Oh yeah, let's solve it out. Assume a discount rate. One that will give you positive MPV. Please remember, when you get to year 1 to 2, you are going to compute annuity factor because you have two cash flows. Oh yeah, what are we assuming? I've assumed 10 and 15. Are we taking 10 and 15? Or you want to still do your 10 and 12? Yes? We can take 10 and 15 just to save time, since we understand what we're supposed to do. For 10% year 0 is 1. Annuity factor 10% year 2. Please, let's confirm. I'm just waiting for you guys. So 10% year 3, 0.751. Multiply, get your MPV. So get your present value. Sum up. At 10%, you are going to get positive MPV, 23.44. Once you get positive, you can now increase the rates. I've increased to 15. At 15%, this is 1. Annuity factor 15% year 1 to 2. I have 1.626. Then the discount factor year 3 only, 0.658. Get your present value. Please check the multiplication. Discount factor 1 multiplied by the cash flow, negative 1,000. Next, 1.626 multiplied by 120. What do you have? Next, 0.658 multiplied by 1,020. What do you have? Please, let's check.
Sorry, sir. Can you take that again? What are we multiplying?
People are keeping quiet. I'm assuming we're on the same page.
Yes, just 0.120 multiplied, but I didn't get the other one.
Okay. Have you done the 10% one?
Okay, yes, I got the 10%.
You now get to 15%, Abby.
Okay.
Discount factor 15% year zero. What do you have?
I don't. 10%.
What is the
Okay, for year
discount
one.
factor
Is
for
it for
year
year
zero?
one? Okay, for year zero. Okay.
What do you have? What is the discount factor? At 15%.
Sir, for
I
year
have
zero,
one.
1.
I, I have one.
It must be 1 now.
Yes, it's one.
Year zero is always 1. 1 multiplied by your cash flow. What is the cash flow in year 1, in year zero? What is the cash flow in year zero? Abi is me that is not talking very well.
Sorry, my boss, I was muted. Cash flow in year zero is minus 1,026.
So multiply by 1, what do you have?
Multiply by one. It's still giving me the same thing.
Good. Year 2, get the annuity factor at 15%. Year 1 to 2, annuity factor. What do you have?
Annuity factor.
At 15%.
1.626.
Thank you. Let the other guy also confirm.
It's the same thing, sir.
When you get that, multiply by the cash flow in year 1 to 2. What's the cash flow in year 1 to 2?
120.
Please multiply.
$195.12.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Now go to year 3. 15% discount factor. Year 3, what do you have?
Zero point 658 approximately.
Great. 0.658. When
Yeah.
you get that figure, multiply by the cash flow in year 3.
736.96.
Now look at it on your screen, 736.96. When you
Yes.
are done, you can now get the MPV. Sum up your present value. Have you gotten the MPV?
Vector minus 2 6 plus 5.20 plus.
Have you gotten the MPV?
Yes, I've gotten it.
What do you have?
90 minus 93.92.
Good. Now you have gotten two MPVs, one positive, one negative, right?
Yes, sir.
You also have two rates, 10% and 15%. Now get your YTM, get the internal rate of return.
I think, okay.
You know, the YTM is the internal rate of return of the cash flows, right?
Yes.
So now, examiner says calculate the YTM of the bond. And you are doing, that means you want to calculate the internal rate of return of the cash flows associated with the bond. You have calculated, you have assumed 10%. At 10%, you got MPV of 23.44. Then you now increase to 15%. At 15%, you got MPV negative 93.92. And now said, then calculate the internal rate of return now. What is the YTM of bond B? I hope that point is clear. Hello?
Hello, sir. We can hear you.
I hope the point is clear.
I'm not clear personally. I don't know
Okay,
about that.
please, how do you compute internal rate of return?
Okay, which is always the MPV of something lower rate over MPV of lower rate plus the higher rate.
Please, just use this figure, compute internal rate of return.
Okay, I will do that now.
I think it should be clear, but I'm wondering. Prosper, I hope it's clear.
Yes, sir, it is.
You have gotten the rate, Abby.
Yes, sir.
I've gotten the answer.
But I hope it's clear now.
Yes, it's clear now. But
Because that's one thing
yes,
that
it's clear now. But I'm so sorry for taking you back. Please, I
no problem.
I tried to get this 1.626 of annuity factor. I did not get it. So I don't know if you can kindly give me the formula again.
Why not? Uh-uh. Annuity formula.
Yes.
No problem. Let me see how. Look at the annuity formula now. Where is it? Annuity formula. Annuity formula. Annuity factor is equal to 1 minus bracket 1 plus R, close your bracket, close your bracket, raised to power. Well, I just carried it. So I should even have it here. Do I have it? I need to do raised to power now.
Yes.
I think I should
Raise
have
to
it.
power
So.
minus n, something like that.
Yes, now divided by R.
Yes, I did that. I didn't have it. Using 15% rate. I did not have it.
Look at the formula here now. I'll carry it now. You didn't have it, okay? You must have it. So
I did the same thing. Oh, I don't know. I did not have it.
you must have it. Maybe just mistake.
Okay,
So
let me
it's
reply.
good because some will not speak out and they are not even getting it. So if you speak out, it's fine.
So under the n, I use -2, like 2 years. Maybe is that where I make a
So
mistake?
It's 3 years.
Okay,
it's
it's
three
three
years
years.
now.
Okay, I use -2 because it's 1 to 2. That's why I use -2. All right, I will correct. Maybe that's why I did not get it.
No, but it's 2 years now. Why are we saying 3 years?
Oh,
It's 1 to 2 now. Look at it now. Just come here.
Yeah.
You are going to look at the formula. 1 minus bracket 1 plus 0.15, close your bracket, minus raised to power -2, raised to power -2, then divided by 0. 15. Oh yeah, do it now.
Yes, I get it. I know where I make a mistake now. So I I did everything before now minus it from the one instead of dividing it first before taking it to no, I don't know how to put it. I did not minus it with ones. I now use my final answer to minus with one. That was the mistake I made before. So I got
No
it now.
problem, please. At least you understand how to do it because you are going to do it in exam.
Yes, I got it
Investment.
now.
You are going to need it, so annuity factor will always come. So we have gotten it to maturity. Then the last calculation is the C part. Calculate the duration. The C part, calculate the duration of each bond. Then what does duration measures? The duration of each bond. To calculate duration, we have like 2 or 3 steps. Please note it in case you missed last week class. To calculate duration, you have one is you have first calculate of the bond. Step number 2, use the yield to maturity. This the expected cash flows from the bond. Step number 2, use the yield to maturity to discount the expected future cash flows from the bond. Step number 3, then use the notation below to calculate the bond yield. I've itemized 3 steps. Step 1, the yield to maturity of the bond. We have done that in B. Yield to maturity of bond A, 10.67. Yield to maturity of bond B, approximately 11%. So we have done step 1. Step 2, use the yield to maturity to discount the cash flows from the expected future cash flows. The expected future cash flows. What are the expected future cash flows? That is cash flow in the future, not year 0. Year 0 is now. What are the cash flow in the future? Now look at it quickly. The yield to maturity of bond A. You open your schedule, year 1, year 2. Bond A is just for 2 years. Your item, interest, annual interest in year 1 for bond A is 100. Year 2, annual interest plus the redemption value. In year 2, you have 2 cash flows. Annual interest plus the redemption value. That gave us 1,180. I keep on explaining where we got this figure. Look at it here. Year 2, 100 annual interest. Redemption value 1,080. You can add these two values together. 100 naira plus 1,080 naira. That becomes 1,180 naira. That is the figure here. Look at it here. Then the YTM of bond A. Use the YTM to discount the cash flow. Look at it. You can work this out. 10.67. What is the discount factor year 1? 10.67.
0.903.
0.904.
So I got 903. 0.90333 for
Maybe it's my
approximate.
mistake. It might be my mistake. It might be my mistake. It's not impossible. It's my mistake. Then in year 2, 10.67. What is the discount factor?
Zero point 0.816.
Thank you. When you have gotten the discount factor, then discount the cash flow to get the present value. 100 multiplied by 0.903, 1,080 multiplied by 0.81, your figure. Let's multiply.
For year 1, 90.3. Year 2, 962.88. Together,
Okay.
1,053.
When you are done, great. That is summation. Then come to the last column. Now, your last column, please listen, is present value multiplied by the corresponding number of years. Year 1, 1 multiplied by the present value. 1 multiplied by 90.3. What do you have?
90.3.
Year 2, 2 multiplied by the corresponding present value. Please multiply. 2 multiplied by 962.88.
1,925.76.
So you also sum up present value multiplied by n. Sum up.
2016.06.
Now, when you are now done, your duration is the summation of present value multiplied by n divided by the summation of the present value, meaning 2016.16 divided by 053.28. That is the duration. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Duration of bond B, 1.91 year.
Bond A, sir.
Oh, bond A. Thank you. Duration is 1.91 year. When we say duration, the number of years it will take the investor to recoup the amount invested in bond. So if the company invests in bond A, it will take the company 1.9 years to recoup the amount invested in that bond. For bond B, take the cash flows, annual interest, annual interest, annual interest plus the redemption value. Now discount this cash flow using the YTM of bond B. The YTM of bond B is 11%. Now find a discount factor at 11%, year 1, year 2, year 3. For year 1 is 0.901, year 2 0.812, year 3 0.731. Then get your present value.
Sir, please, I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, can we still do 1 to 2 and then use an annuity factor? Is it going to give the same?
A good. You are going to see the answer yourself. I will not talk now. Now look at it. Oh. Get your present value, Abby. That not. Discount factor, Abby, multiplied by the corresponding cash flow. You have 120 multiplied by 0.901. That will give us 108.12. 120 multiplied by 0.812. That will give us 97.44. Then year 3, 1,120 multiplied by 0.731. That will give us 818.72. Sum up. That will give us 1,024.16. The last column, look at the last column now. Present value multiplied by n. N is 1 year. 1 multiplied by 108. 0.12. That will give us 108.12. Next, the present value 97.44 multiplied by 2. What do you have, please? Please multiply. That will give us 194.88. Next, the present value multiplied by 3. That is our n. That will give us 2,456.16. You have gotten by n. Now, to that your question, we cannot do annuity when you are doing duration. Please do not attempt to do annuity process year 1 to 2 or year 1 to 3. You observe that we multiply by individual year. Year 1, year 2, year 3. If you now do year 1 to 3, how do you multiply by individual year? Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
To get your bond duration, when you sum 2,759.16 divided by summation of the present value, 1,224.16. That will give us 2.697. That is duration of bond. Any question, please? Examiner say duration measures. Duration measures the sensitivity of bond price to a change in interest rates. To changes in interest rates. It's a measure of the interest rate risk associated with the bond. Duration measures the sensitivity of bond price. The higher the sensitivity, the higher the risk. In simple terms, duration measures the sensitivity of a bond price to change in interest rate. It shows how long it will take to recoup the amount invested in bond. Now look at the D part of the question. If you expect interest rates to rise, to increase in the market, which of the two bonds, A or B, would you like to buy and why? If you are expecting interest rate to rise in the market, should the company invest in bond A or bond B? Why? Let us explain this. If interest increases, value of bond will fall. Rates increases. Generally, if there's increase in interest rates, value of the bond will fall. No calculation is required here. If interest rates increase, prices of bond are expected to fall. Bond with relatively higher duration will experience higher percentage fall in price in response to the same percentage increase in rates. What we are saying is, if interest rate rises, generally the value of bond will fall. However, bond with longer duration will experience greater fall in value compared to bond with shorter duration. In this case, it is better to invest in bond with shorter duration. So the company should invest in bond A. Bond A duration is 1.9 years. Bond B is 2.69. If interest rate is expected to rise, it is better for the company to invest in bond a bond with shorter duration. That is the end of that question. Any question, please? Okay, if there's no question.
I have a question, sir.
I was waiting now.
Sir, please, can you explain how increase in interest rate results in fall of the value of the bond?
Okay. we'll just demonstrate it small. You have done it, you didn't notice. Look at it. At rate 10%, what is the price of the bond? Let me okay, I can read it. At rate 10%, What is the price of a bond here?
23.44.
When you increase rates to 15%, what is the price here?
Negative 93.92.
What's happening to price?
There is fall in price.
If rates increases, price of a bond, value of a bond will fall.
Okay, sir.
If interest rates increases, we expect the market price of bonds to fall. I just want to keep it simple. All right, we have spent time. Let's have a blessed evening. May God give us a better understanding.
Thank you very much. I think
Amen.
I
Thank
really,
you.
I really understand that illustration.
All right, we thank God. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Nice.
You can look at 4 questions. That was the question that was texted. I thought it just time. I thought we could solve both questions, but I want to try and explain. Instead of just solving and leaving, otherwise, we have spent 2 hours addressing one question. We started that question by 9. We took 30 minutes to explain the principle, recap. Started the question by 9. We have spent 2 hours. All right, good night.
Good night,
Okay,
sir.